Well, today we're working on this piece of shit. Welcome to the channel. Heads back from machine shop, port, polish, 3-angle valve job, milled 30,000s, finna be 10.5 to 1-ish, race motor, for sure. Nah, it's just cleaned up. Machine shop said they took 7,000s off of it, so a little bit higher compression, probably nothing, probably still under 10 to 1. And let's get started on this. Welcome. Gotta clean this up a little bit, throw this on. Should be done pretty good. Make sure journals don't have nothing bad on them. I don't know what else. Just make sure they're clean. Making sure there's no garbage on the lobes. But there's a little bit of garbage. Oh, there's just a stain. Yep. Installed. Well, I just remembered that I have rockers and lifters I gotta put in this. Nope, not that one. Quite lovely. We got rockers, and these are not that dirty. Which way does it go on? That's the way they go on. Alright. When they got put in. Should I? Yep, that's good enough for me. Alright, cool. I'm not going to clean a single one of these after that. That one's clean-ish. I'll just work with it. So, the noise I heard was this just deciding it doesn't want to be a part of the head and cam and everything else. So now I gotta take it all apart and put that one back on. It's probably because the valve hit the table, and instead of lifting the head up, it just kind of that was the weakest link. Probably not a good thing. That's the weakest link, actually. Interesting. So I've gone over this thing 4 different times. Just kind of tighten it and then moving it, and at first it didn't want to move, and then it tried to do it again, and then it kind of moved a little bit more. So I shorten this up, get less leverage on it, and it moves about the same, which it'll probably self-clearance itself anyways. Alright, so we got all the bolt holes for the heads. Sprayed them down with compressor a few times. I don't want to keep this stuff in there. Got coolant tube. That's in. Now I just gotta clean it up, with a razor, best I could. Gotta put the heads on now. All right, we got felpro head gaskets going on. Got rubber coating, so hopefully it seals everything. Well, the heads were milled, that should be just fine. And I didn't do the best job cleaning up the surface area on the head, not the head, on the block. So hopefully that just kind of fixes itself. All right. Oh, that seems pretty close. Oh yeah, I'm the best. Yep, she's installed, practically done. Oh man, that sucked. You gotta make sure you oil these up a little bit, not too much. You know, we're gonna. That's too much. We're gonna wipe them off and call it a day. As long as it's not dripping, I think it's fine. So that's what we're gonna do. There you go. That's a lot better. I really should have snugged these up before I... Oh, my torque wrench turned off. Alright, ready for timing chains to go on that. Alright, that's lined up right there. Ooh. Lined up right there. Means it's timed. Not the tensioners on, everything else. So, timing chains are on. It's timed there. Oh. It's timed there. I think I go underneath. It is timed there. So I'm gonna roll it over a few times and make sure it does that and make sure it stays in time. Well, it doesn't want to turn over. I still think it's that. Those cam bolts being tight. It gets to a point and it just stopped. So, guess I gotta figure out what that is. So something is a lot off. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to hear it. Stops. Then I have no idea what that is. I'm pretty sure the motor's, I'm like 90% positive. Doesn't do it the other way. But just gets stuck right there. Huh. That's weird. I think I'm gonna ignore that, but I do want to see what it is. Well, so I found out that it takes like 50 something revolutions of the motor for these to time up like to a T properly again. So that's nice. The little like ting in the back of the motor kind of went away the more I turned it over. So it self-cleared itself and it's probably fine. I do gotta tighten this back up and wonder why it keeps binding, but it should be alright. Well, we're in here cleaning up the threads because, you know, it would be just really smart to do that with the heads out of the truck. So I decided to do it while it's in the truck, you know. It was a last minute thing. Now I just gotta throw the manifolds on. Well, I'm back with this. Got a lot of stuff done on it that I didn't record. Just didn't want to. And, just check it out real quick. So we got both valve covers on, intakes just kind of there. I had to visualize the end goal, so I put it on. Passenger side manifolds on. Look down in here. Oh, you can't see that at all. Trust me, it's there. Driver's side one is kicking my butt a lot. Just can't get it in. I don't know how well you can see that. But my butt, you know, yeah. So the coolant hose that goes in that fitting right there The back of the intake right there. I think it evaporated, to be honest. There's no way I could have lost it. Yeah, so probably gotta grab a new one. So lower intake's just kind of in there. I don't think there's really any certain way it goes in there. I think it's just kind of like a rough thing, you know? Yeah. I think he'll be alright. So, how to find out that those bolts over there are the upper and lower bolts, and I'm guessing these are to the heads. Process of elimination, you know, I only have so many more bolts left to put this together. So a lot of these are pretty dirty, so they're pretty good about not falling out. Which is really nice, because I gotta get way the frick back in there. And I can't see what I'm doing. So, kind of just, I don't know. So I just realized that the intake stabbed J267. I think this is where Richard Rollins would say, this is a J code 281. Then proceed to spindle a old lady out of her deceased husband's car. So I just found the water neck, and it just reminded me how bad the cooling system was on this. Is that a bad head gasket? I think. I'm guessing so. You know, it looks pretty good. Oh, it comes off in chunks. Oh yeah, I gotta do a heater core too. And well, the heater core, goofy stuff. So she's a high mileage unit, and this is my first truck. So when I got it, probably 4 or 5 months after I got it, it started having overheating issues. Did a coolant test, and it had exhaust fluid in the coolant. So instead of doing head gaskets right then, decided to do head gasket in a bottle, and it lasted for a year. And then it gave out, and then I put more in, you know, and it lasted a little bit longer. And it did last. This didn't overheat before I pulled it in here. But because all the shit in it, heater core went out on my sister when she was driving it. And then, you know, didn't want to put a heater core in it when it was going to do the same thing with all the junk in the cooling system. So, this is what happens when, well, more like I just put this off until it became too big of a problem to not do nothing about. We made progress. It's actually in the right spot. It was fighting me for the longest time. Just gotta run these bolts down. They go underneath. Do the ones in the bottom. Intake's actually now on. Got the lower in there. Everything's all snug. Injectors are in. Running out of things to do. So, it's pretty good. All this stuff looks pretty fresh. Or pretty watery. No, that looks like water. Yeah. There we go. There we are. don't know what's going on with it. Obviously something with the starter. Big goofy. So, had everything together, put a starter on it, and crank no start. Would not fire off. I checked for fuel pressure. It had fuel pressure. I put the scanner on it and was looking at it, and it said it had no RPM. And kind of need that, you know. So I change the crank sensor. The cam sensor kind of looked like, no, it was broke. Don't want to focus, but yeah. Thought it was that. It wasn't. So, alright, I was running on options. Pulled the harmonic bouncer off, and it was the trigger wheel. It was not even on it. Started cleaning up, and I found it. So I had to take it all apart, put them back together. Real smart.
Alright, fire in the hole!
Oh, dude, she got a big old cam in her. Well, it runs. Definitely has a misfire. So it's definitely smoking. Probably just burning off something. Everything, maybe. Probably coolant. Probably what it is. Yeah. I consider this a great success. Yeah. Head gaskets on my 98 F150. Took me like 2 months. But I got it done. Alright, thanks for watching the video, I guess.